Hello and welcome to the Jazz Journey with Doug Hall. I'm your host, Doug Hall. Today our musical guest is Ray Seol, a Berklee College of Music Associate Professor in the Department of Professional Music. Ray is also a composer of 5 studio albums and has performed at major international jazz festivals and collaborated with many regional and national jazz artists. Welcome, Ray. We are very excited to have you with us today on our program and to talk about your musical career and particularly extensively about your Fulbright academic scholarship project, Another Season. So welcome, Ray.
Thank you for having me, Doug.
And I am going to mention to the audience that we're going to have an opportunity to listen to snippets of 2 compositions and have a chance to reflect on them and discuss them. But we're going to have more focus in this particular interview on Ray's project, Another Season. But Ray, I'd just like to have you share with the audience just a little bit about your professional musical background. How did you come to develop a musical interest and direction in jazz, and what was your journey like to the Berklee College of Music?
Yeah, it's quite a long story actually, but I will make it short.
Okay.
Because when I was 26, I'm from South Korea, and when I was 26, I got a CD from my friend. They called the Wes Montgomery, the Incredible Jazz Guitar.
Yes.
That's an amazing CD. And then before that, I didn't play music. I loved music, but listening to music actually, like Korean pop and stuff, and not jazz at all. But the CD, there is a song called Polka Dots and Moonbeams. I listened to that track. It's like it blew my mind, you know. I was a computer programmer in Korea, and as you know, the programmers, we are kind of logical person, you know. We just have to know the process, input, process, and output.
Right.
When I listen to that music, there is no logic, you know. Like completely mass to me, like beautifully mass. You know, there's no start, no ending. I'm not sure how what those kind of, you know. It was a crazy moments.
Wow.
So I got interested in jazz, and at that time, age 26, you know, is kind of age that I love to think about my future. You know, what's gonna be my next kind of life steps. And I didn't really like my job at the time, so I told my parents, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go to the States side to study English, and also I want to actually navigate the option for music." And they said, "Are you crazy? You know, what do you mean?" So I left. You know, I left, and then it's been 26 years.
Wow.
I became a jazz musician, and then I'm teaching at Berklee. I play the bass as a main instrument.
Right.
But I'm a late kind of a learner. I went through a lot of issues and obstacles, but I'm here. I'm a musician now. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. It's always important to hear the journey because everybody's story, every student that I speak to, and I do speak to a number of Berklee College of Music students, they really they add so much color and dimension to the storyline of their lives. So within your area of interest, I found it very curious because you are approaching and incorporating a visual atmosphere with jazz music. I was trying to find the right words, but I'll have you elaborate. Fusing sound and color through what you call synesthesia. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, synesthesia.
Okay.
There's a phenomenon that I guess maybe few people have those brain sensation that when you hear music, you see colors kind of situation. I'm the one of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it happened to me, I guess around age of 13, 14, you know.
Okay.
I became a colorblind. It's interesting that I wasn't a colorblind before age of 12. And all of a sudden I couldn't see, you know, that those textbooks, like a colorblind is textbooks. I couldn't see the numbers there.
Really? Wow.
So I was kind of it was interesting because I was art students, painting students.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jeez, that's kind
it's the
of
end of the world,
frightening. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the end of the world. But
right.
somehow, few months, or I don't know, something happened to my brain. I start seeing some of the color sensations.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what that was. It was technically, yeah, maybe it's just something. I didn't really pay attention to it.
Right.
Later, I studied jazz, and there's some of the artworks from Kandinsky and
Oh,
all
yes.
those amazing the people. I knew about this whole sensations it's called synesthesia. So I incorporate visual elements
Mm-hmm.
to my music.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, when I compose, I use color schemes, and I also express my music through the paintings and
Mm-hmm.
photographies and those kind of. So it's kind of like the I'm trying to merge between the audio and visual
Right.
as a one complete form.
Right. Right. So literally the audience is looking at imagery as well as hearing the music. So they're using two inputs for their brain visually. Um,
Yeah, so
interesting.
I
Yeah.
I started this with it was a long time ago. Back then, the computer wasn't really fast enough, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but my programming background, so I actually used some of the technology to connect those two. So around 2008 was my thesis at NYU. I created the project called the interactive jazz as a new visual arts. That's the
Yes.
some
Okay.
sort of the project, and I trying to actually connect the visual elements coming out of my music. So I connect those to through a little chip Arduino. I get probably people out there who know what Arduino is. It's a little like a CPU type of chip, and then I can program. So whenever people touch my painting, they can hear music. That was very basic form of this project.
Yes.
Then it has evolved into some other things these days. So
Okay. Okay. Wow. Well, I'm sure that is something that's going to be available for audiences to find through Ray's social media, which will be posted with this production. Going back, or really returning to the Fulbright sponsored project another season, I wanted just to, as an introduction to the audience, I wanted just to briefly quote from the Berklee website posting that summarizes what is a very emotionally intense project for Ray. Quote, it also draws from Seol's artistic collection of short writings, photographs, and music that encourages open dialogue about inner strength and healing. The project, deeply personal, shaped by Seol's own journey through the devastated loss of his mother who died of suicide. Unquote. So, Ray, what I wanted to do before we listened to snippets of these two recordings was just give you the opportunity, however long you want to spend with it, where you want to maybe talk about and share your thoughts and hopes for this project, what this project means to you and what you hope for from this project.
sure, Doc. So it all started from the day of my mother, who passed away by suicide, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I was a student at the new school in New York City.
Right.
So, like as you know, the music students actually the last time I
Yes.
studied music under Reggie Workman and Buster Williams. I had a really good time, but somehow I got this news from my father that my
Mm-hmm.
mom passed away. So ever since that happened to my family, my theme for music was really about my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a grieving process for me, actually.
Okay.
So I've produced musical albums based on my mom's kind of favorite colors,
Mm-hmm.
stories, and those things. Technically, it is kind of grieving uh, my music, but it has turned into more of a suicide prevention campaign
I see.
because I lost a couple of my friends, a couple of my family members after my mom's the things,
Okay.
and I couldn't really bear,
Sure.
why
Sure.
people make the decisions. I couldn't understand,
Yeah.
it's a bad thing actually
Yeah.
for especially those who we call it suicide loss survivors, who's just maybe
Right.
have to live with that the pain.
Right.
And then so I came up with the idea that hey, I will grieve,
Hmm.
until I go, like
Yeah.
it's just let's play. So it started with a my own project called Apprentice. You can actually check this kind of a pre format of my current project. I composed a ballad music based on the story that my mom always shared with me. And
Right.
then I used the Brazilian language, the Portuguese language, to actually express these emotional feelings, sentiment. And then we created the art piece based off of these lyrics and music. That was the first kind of project I launched around 2021.
Hmm.
And then after that, I thought about a little further. Why don't I create actually a musical drama based on my mom's story? So
Okay.
I applied for a Fulbright grant 2024, and then I got the grant. So I was in
Amazing.
South Korea for 3 months in the last year, 2025, summer of 2025. And during the 3 months, I collected around 14 suicide loss survivors in South Korea, and then I got the keywords, the wish list.
Hmm.
And also I was trying to track my mom's history, that some of the stories that I never heard before, and trying to know or understand who she was.
Right.
So
Right. Of
those
course.
storylines got all together.
Okay.
So I created the lyrics. I created some of the elements of musical kind of the expressions.
Hmm.
So I end up creating 8 songs,
Okay.
and then I created a musical drama based on those
Ah.
soundtracks. So
Okay.
I showcased in South Korea in August last year, and then it was pretty good. And then it came out as a book, and then it came out as an album now.
Wow.
So the title of entire project called The Prison of Language, because my mom, I didn't know, but I found out this time. My mom didn't know how to read and write. I didn't know. I didn't have any clue.
Huh.
I just discovered that.
Wow.
So think about, the person who has no like ability to actually read and write.
Or
They
communicate.
might have, yeah, have a limitation to understand themselves and also
Right.
make sense of their life. So
Right.
I thought about it, and maybe the reason that she's gone because maybe that was the only way she can get out of this prison of language that she was suffering from.
Yeah.
That was the story that I discovered, and eventually, I'm still working on it, but it became
Right.
a long story of my mother and celebrating her life and
Right.
also grieving process of
Right.
myself.
Well, first of all, congratulations. The Fulbright Scholarship is very competitive. And obviously, you have given an enormous amount of thought and an emotional level to the development of this project. And by the end of our interview, I'd like to ask you again where audiences can really hear or find the book or engage. We will now transition to two compositions that relate to this project from Ray. And the first one will be Superposition of Life and Death. Do you want to briefly set that up for us, and then we'll just listen to the snippet that you sent us?
Sure. That song is one of 8 tracks that I created for the musical drama. And then the name Superposition of Life and Death, because of the interview I got from suicide loss survivors.
Okay.
The keyword is interesting that they all believe that the family who committed suicide, they are living somewhere out there. They're
Right.
still out there.
Sure.
So they felt really about life and death are together.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kind of there's like really kind of merged into the one of the sensations. So they really felt that way. So I kind of trying to honor their story, and also trying to grieve too. So it
Sure.
is the foundation of the traditional jazz format plus
Mm-hmm.
the Korean shamanism ritual.
Okay.
So you probably hear the vocal sounds there. It
Right.
is I hired the traditional vocalist in Korea who
Okay.
sings the very traditional way of the vocal in Korean style. So it is a celebratory kind of the ritual process for a shamanism process, where people wants to hear the story of someone who passed away.
Sure.
So it's a really long song. Now we only have like 6 second sample, but it's a 10-minute song of all the ritual process I
Sure.
interpretate. So it came out very model jazz approach plus the Korean shamanism tweak. So
Okay. Well, we'll have a quick listen. That's an excellent explanation, amazing sort of thought process on your part of merging the cultural Korean aspect with some more traditional jazz. So we'll listen to just a snippet of Superposition of Life and Death. Wow, there's for me, there's this underlying very frantic bebop chaos going on, and yet the voice is trying to rise above it and make its statement, and it's powerful. I encourage the audience to find the full length of this recording. It really builds. It's quite powerful emotionally. So, thank you, Ray.
yeah, thank you so much. I guess the album will be released sometime this year.
Okay.
It haven't been released yet.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it was interesting experience actually recording this.
Yeah.
I love Coltrane, John Coltrane.
Oh yes, that comes
So it's a
through.
tradition. Yeah, tradition. I believe that is part of ritual too.
Yeah. Oh
So I
yes.
honor Coltrane sounds. So
Yes.
those are all Korean musicians in Korea.
Oh, wonderful.
And
Okay.
then two of them were Berklee grads.
Right.
So they kind of understand the language of Coltrane, and we're trying to kind of see how can he merge the Coltrane sounds into
Yeah.
Korean ritual. So
Right. Well, just a brief side note. I mean, of course, John Coltrane deeply, deeply committed and involved to the spirituality of life and why is there music? Why are we making music? Why are people benefiting or not? What is the direction of our lives and humanity as it relates to the spirituality of music? He's the godfather.
yeah.
He's really deep. So thank you for sharing that. And moving on to the second selection, Another Season. Do you want to set that up briefly for us, Ray?
Yes, so the another season, we call it another season 2, Mother.
Okay.
There's two separate songs that same name. Another season 2, Mother. Another season 2, Son. So the Mother portion, what we're gonna listen to right now, is the classical composition, and then arranged by Matthew Nicol, one of the fantastic arranger professor at Berklee. It is the main theme of the musical drama. The lyrics is in Korean. She talks about the answer to the question in the musical theater drama. The answer came from all those keywords from those suicide loss survivors I interviewed with. Their wish list actually.
Oh,
But
okay.
the voice is to me is my mother when she was 20. The story that my mom passed around mid 50s actually. But I remember when she was 20 years old, she had to go through some of the very interesting life challenges actually. So that represents my mother's voice when she was 20 years old, but also has the lyrics from the keywords, based on the keywords from the suicide loss survivors I interviewed with.
Okay.
So it is the answer to a very specific question in the musical drama.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Let's have a listen to a portion of Another Season.
널 만나 눈부셨던 그 순간 하나까지 이제는 이별의 말들 속에 기억도 나지 않아 보고 싶다고 해도 왜 나를 외면할까 문득 떠오른 내 모습 내 꿈
Wow, that has such a symphonic, classical music-based sound. You feel like you're in the theater at the Boston Symphony Orchestra, and her voice soars. So it's a powerful piece.
Yeah, it is a very simple melody, but Matthew Nicole, he did a really good job turning that into a classical composition kind of arrangement. So it was a live session. We call it in South Korea. It's a 16 people orchestra.
Oh, wow.
And then it came out beautifully. I really loved it. It's very simple, but it has a very powerful. I'm sorry for the Korean language. The people who doesn't know how to speak Korean, they wouldn't know what that means. But probably you could still hear them in the feel the emotional
You
part
do.
of music.
Yeah, there's a real refrain, feel of loss to the
Yeah,
sound.
it's about my mother. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful work. Well, quickly, we run out of our 30 minutes, but I'm so glad we've had an opportunity to touch on really the depth, not to go completely into the depth of another season, and certainly hope that listeners will seek out the social media information that will be on this broadcast and further involve themselves in listening, and also any cause prevention and grief assistance in this tragic condition that exists in our society. We're running out of time, but I had one more thought in the back of my head. I mean, you must have received some feedback from other musicians who are friends of yours and friends in general, or even strangers who find out about the nature of your approach to this project another season. Could you share just a little bit of snippets with that experience?
Yeah, last summer when I actually finished my first showcase actually in South Korea, I got a lot of emails,
Okay, sure.
and the emails really about them. They had no platform to talk about their loss.
Okay.
Even in here stateside,
Yeah.
people have no platform,
Right.
And then you'd be surprised how many people are affected by this type of the life challenging issues.
Sure.
Probably some of your friends, my family, your family,
yes.
some of them related to something.
Yes.
So my goal is to, especially young people, to create some sort of artistic platform so that people can really honestly talk about these society issues. And,
Right.
hopefully, we can minimize that catastrophic results.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Well, Ray, thank you. I mean, this is a much bigger picture than listening to a music from a jazz musician. There's such an important addressing of the grief and the issue. And you say, as some people who are not affected by this or haven't yet been affected by this in their family or friends, just assume that there's some sort of support network and there's some sort of platform, but there really isn't until that person has to reach out and try and find it somewhere. Right? For the most
True,
part.
yeah.
So, and reconnect. So, again, thank you so much for really from exposing bravely your story. And obviously it reaches many, many others who are impacted by this personal and tragic loss in society. And we do look forward to certainly engaging more in your project. Are you at a completion point, or is it still evolving?
Yeah, it's evolving now. So
Okay.
I'm planning to actually showcase complete the theater
Okay.
drama in South Korea and then Boston,
Okay.
hopefully this summer.
This summer. Okay.
So yeah,
All right. Well,
so
keep me in touch, as you were, from a selfish point of view. Drop me a line. I want to attend whatever performance might occur this summer. And again, just best to you, Ray, and all the success in your personal and musical projects that lie ahead.
thanks so much for inviting me and then having me. It was nice. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Take care. Once again, thank you, listeners, for queuing in on another episode of The Jazz Journey with Doug Hall. And we, in particular, shared a very personal and somewhat emotional interview this time with a established jazz musician, composer, and also someone who is dealing with a very difficult subject of loss due to suicide. Ray Seol is going to be pursuing his Fulbright scholarship project another season, and that you can search for directly on the internet. And then he will be completing the composition of an album, The Prison of Language, which is going to be released towards this summer. Thank you again all for listening and tuning in to the Jazz Journey, and we'll be here again in another month.